All right. All right, let's get this shit on the road. This has certainly been making the rounds. Anywho, let's just 1.5 times this thing. Get through it. Yada yada. Get her started. Nice zoom in. What do we got? The boys.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelensky
Greatest of
of
friends.
Ukraine. And we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very well.
I love how he starts off with, "Oh yeah, we've been working really closely together, brother. You did a fucking peace summary without the Ukrainians. You went to Saudi Arabia with the Russians, and you didn't invite the Ukrainians or the EU. You know, the other side of the conflict, but you wanted the Saudis there. Okay,
We had
nice
the
meme.
negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in.
Which is just
digging and working and get.
yeah, extort the Ukrainians, complete capitulation to the Russians. Are you sure this is a fair deal? I don't. This doesn't seem like a very fair deal.
Some of the rare earth, but it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States.
Also,
and we
by the
appreciate
way,
working with you very much.
the rare earth minerals Trump wants to get to are in the eastern parts of the fucking country, where it would be right by the demilitarized zone. So it's just like, how do you expect to have any extraction, like, sort of methods going on there? And also, probably part of it is also in the Donbass. So, like, that's occupied territory. And it's right by the DMZ. How the fuck are you getting to that? You really think that businesses are going to want to invest into extracting there? And in such a risky location? I don't think so.
And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close. It's something that you want and that he wants. We'll have to negotiate a deal. But we've started the confines of a deal, and I think something can happen. The big thing is the number of soldiers, mostly at this point, but soldiers being killed. They're losing thousands of soldiers. So on both sides, we're losing a lot of soldiers, and we want to see it stop. And we want to see the money get put to different countries.
Thousands of soldiers? The Russians are the ones who have been using, like, human wave tactics because they know that they have the manpower advantage. They can just keep throwing people at the situation until the Ukrainians, well, buckle, essentially. Because they know that with Trump in office right now, it's just going to be a matter of time until they're forced to sort of have to sign a deal that's favorable to the Russians.
Of use, like the rebuilding. And we're going to be working very hard. But we've had a lot of very good conversations. I will say, until we came along, the Biden administration didn't speak to Russia whatsoever. They didn't speak to anybody.
Why should they?
Allowed this to continue. And I will say that.
Wait, why should Biden speak with Russia? We know who did the invasion in 2014. It was the Russians. We know who broke both Minsk Accords first. It was the Russians. Why treat them as honest actors at this point? Fuck them.
You've heard me say it 1,000 times. If I were president, this war would have never happened. We would have had a deal negotiated for you.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Through what you've gone through.
Biden did speak with Putin several times. Yes.
Great equipment, but somebody has to use the equipment.
It didn't amount to anything.
Brave, and we give them great credit. This was supposed to be over very quickly, and here we are 3 years later. So I give tremendous credit to your generals and your soldiers and yourself in the sense that...
Trump, buddy, during the 4 years you were in office and the war was going on, you didn't do shit, my man. If anything, you helped exacerbate the fucking situation. By lifting off some of the sanctions to Russia, he's made it such that the Russians were able to prepare for their invasion in 2022. Like, okay, man, whatever. Nice meme.
It's been very hard fighting, very tough fighting. They're great fighters, and you have to be very proud of them from that standpoint. But now we want to get it over with. It's enough, right? We want to get it over with. So it's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to sign the agreement at the conference in the East Room in a little while, right after lunch. And we'll be having lunch together. We're also discussing some other things, and we appreciate everybody being here. It's somewhat of an exciting moment, but the really exciting moment is when when they stop the shooting and we end up with the deal. And I think we're fairly close to getting that, and an honor to have you. And please, I'd like to say something.
No, thanks so much, Mr. President. Thank you for the invitation. And really, I hope that this first document, will be first step to real security guarantees for Ukraine, our people, our children. I really count on it. And of course, we count that America will not stop support. Really, for us, it's very important to support and to continue it. I want to discuss it with details further during our conversation, and of course the infrastructure or security guarantees. Because for today, I understand what Europe is ready to do, and of course I want to discuss with you what the United States will be ready to do.
Yeah, like the Europeans have more or less said, like, we're willing to commit troops to the fucking ground to enforce a DMZ. We're willing to put, like, peacekeepers on the fucking ground. And it's not UN peacekeepers, it'd be peacekeepers from those countries, which is like a huge fucking step towards a potential ceasefire. But again, the Russians, they're not going to really give a shit unless, of course, the US is also the ones involved. Because the Russians may not give much of a shit about other European countries being put in. They will care if there's American troops. They won't shoot at the American troops. They might risk it with the European ones, because Putin doesn't give a fuck about those guys.
And I really count on your strong position to stop Putin. And you said that enough with the war. I think that it's very important, Ben, to say these words to Putin at the very beginning of war, because he's a killer and terrorist. But I hope that
True.
together we can stop
and
him.
real.
But for us, it's very important to, to save our country, our values.
You know he doesn't agree with that, by the way.
Of course.
Trump
No
totally
compromises
doesn't agree with that.
About our territories, but it will be later. And of course, what I wanted, we spoke about it by phone with you about the drones production. We have very good drones production. I think the best one in the world for today because of the war. Yes, and of course, we need very much.
Yeah, Ukraine's been really having to step up fucking domestic production because they know, like, we're not going to get help for forever, obviously. Like, the initial, like, Western aid, it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like a trickle. There's like a lot of aid that's been given. Well, I think it's about like $200 billion worth from the US, and like a lot of like loans and guarantees given by the EU, because the EU is mostly given money. They've given some equipment, but it's mostly money is what came from the EU. They know it's like, yeah, like we can't rely on aid from like, from like everyone for like forever, obviously. Yeah, and the EU does not have the military equipment the US does. Yeah, the military equipment does as well. Yeah, China's not going to do shit. China's just going to talk out of both sides of their fucking mouth because they want the cheap Russian oil, and also they probably don't want this to escalate into nuclear war because that just doesn't help anyone. That's the Chinese position. So they're always willing to talk out of both sides of their ass when it comes to this particular issue. Which is, like, cowardly. But whatever. Hey, Marxist-Leninists, like, the glorious Chinese state, they sure are the wardens, the vanguards of anti-imperialism. Can't even, like, stand on the anti-imperialist side, really, really solidly at all. Hilarious. But the Chinese aren't going to help them. The Europeans aren't going to be able to give them the equipment that they need. The US is the only one that has all the fucking major equipment.
You have the best air defense in the world.
So
And really you helped us under attacks of Russians. And I want to speak how we can exchange the licenses. We're open to share the licenses of all our drones with you, of course, with the United States. And we need licenses for quick production of air defense. Even after the war, we need our nation to be calm, that we are secure. So that's why we need this air shield. And of course, about this, I want to speak about the contingents. I think that France and UK already spoke to you. And we know that Europe is ready, but without the United States, they will not be ready to be as strong as we need. And the last point, last not least, about exchange, about our people and children. And you know that this crazy Russian, that they stole 20,000 of children, Ukrainian children. They changed their names.
Yep, they sure did. Fucking, like, hard Russification. This is what Russification. Another thing that a lot of these, like, stupid, like, dipshit campists don't talk about. There is an actual fucking case for genocide to be argued that the Russian state has committed within Ukraine. Because, again, this has been fucking documented. They kidnapped a bunch of fucking kids and took them to fucking Russian orphanages and to Russian schools to re-educate them. That is a genocide. Simply put.
They changed their families, relatives, and
we can have those standards with the Palestinians, but Ukrainians, I don't know, they're white.
And our warriors. By the way, Mr. We exchanged yesterday more than 4,000 warriors from Russian prison, but there are thousands more in the prison.
Yeah, there's been constant exchanges going on between both sides.
Just can I now?
Yeah,
Have I?
please.
Some minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Just you to understand in what circumstances, in what situation they are, and what
He kind of is like he has to like play in to try to like flatter Trump a little bit here. Like Trump obviously, like you can kind of tell he doesn't give a shit, to be honest. He's pretty firmly like staked his fucking side with the Russians. Like literal fucking Russian asset tier shit. Whoa, the libs were correct about fucking Trump being a Putin puppet, and the whole hand wringing over Russia wasn't like entirely unfounded. Whoa, crazy, but you know, we'll get to that. we'll get to that.
the attitude of Russia to our prisoners. That guys, just you before and after. And you see before and after, just you to understand. Now thousands of such guys, ladies and men, there, and that's so they don't eat. They beat them, and they, you know.
Is this true?
A lot of, you know.
Russians are they're
So
pretty
out
brutal.
of, even during the war, there are rules. Everybody knows there are rules during the war. These guys, they don't have any rules. It's a lot of changes here.
Whoops. Fucking fat fingered while trying to catch a Kiram. Lovely.
And you see, this is pastor.
Love
by the
fat
way, it's
fingering.
stolen pastors, because it's not Russian church. It's stolen pastors and moved pastors to the prison. We at the end of last year we brought
Stolen
two
pastors as well. That's
We
crazy.
exchanged them. And this is pastor. You see.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, this.
Yeah, having to talk about like, you know, appealing to like religious people and shit like that, because again, we're dealing with Republicans. Republicans are
Do you have any questions, please?
troglodytes.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the, how much money is the U.S. going to put into the fund that is being created today, and how does this provide long-term security for Ukraine?
Well, we don't know exactly how much because we're going to be putting some money in a fund that we're going to get from the raw earth that we're going to be taking and sharing in terms of revenue. So it's going to be a lot of money will be made from the sale and from the use of raw earth. And as you know, our country doesn't have much raw earth. We have a lot of oil and gas, but we don't have a lot of the raw earth. And what we do have is protected by the environmentalists, but that can be unprotected. But still, it's not very much.
Yeah, Trump wants to basically fuck over like national parks. He basically wants to like fuck over national parks and just start drilling in national parks. Which is why he's talking about the environmentalists, they're stopping us from drilling. Yeah, because they don't want you to go after the fucking like things that make America as nice as it is. You fucking moron. Like that's why. But like what, it's like an estimated amount of money that like Ukraine has in terms of like raw earth minerals. But you know, we have to do the extraction, this sort of extortion. And is he actually gonna like contribute that to the fund? Questionable.
They have among the best in the world in terms of raw earth. So we're going to be using.
Isn't China the one that has the most raw earth minerals because of their blatant imperialism of Tibet? Because that's where most of it actually is. It's mostly in Tibet. There's also in Africa as well. There's tons of extraction there. Afghanistan, I know, has a bunch of raw earth mineral deposits as well. I believe. So, I mean, it should still be fairly obvious that it's all about like extortion, because again, this guy runs the fucking office like he's a mafia kingpin, right? You know, if you give us the money, we'll protect you. You know, kind of a deal.
Using it for all of the things we do, including AI and including weapons and the military, and it's really going to very much satisfy our needs. So something that just worked out really well. We have a lot of oil, and we have a lot of gas, we have a lot, but we don't have raw earth. So this has just about every component of the raw earth that we need for computers, for all of the things we do. This puts us in great shape.
And long-term security for Ukraine. How does this provide?
I think they're going to have. Wait, look, I think once we make the agreement, that's going to be 95% of it. They're not going to go back to fighting. I've spoken with President Putin.
Really?
And I feel very strong. I've known him for a long time, and I feel very strongly that they're very serious about it, and we'll make a deal.
Sure. Yeah, because they're getting exactly what they fucking want out of this, so that's why they feel so strongly about it. Keep in mind, some of the territory that fucking the Russians want to annex is still held in Ukrainian hands. So obviously the Ukrainians are not going to want to fucking give up on that. But I mean, I've constantly said this point before. The reason why there's no fucking ceasefire deal, no peace deal that's gone through, even after all the fucking talks constantly, is because neither side can fucking agree on anything. Because again, what did the fucking Russians want? They want a bunch of fucking territory, because this is always about a naked fucking land grab. And what do the Ukrainians want? They want their fucking land back. Because it's just like, dude, you invaded us. Like, fuck you. What the fuck?
We talk about security. Everyone's talking.
They're never going to agree on that.
Security. I said, let me make the deal first. I have to make the deal first. I don't worry about security right now.
Well, buddy, it's because the deal that you're proposing doesn't have security guarantees. That's why people are saying, like, okay, well, what about the security? You've literally, the main deal that you've proposed has, like, no fucking guarantees of, like, Americans on the fucking ground.
Bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
Because the only way that you're gonna get, like, the Russians to comply with the fucking ceasefire deal is if there's American boots on the ground. You've made it, like, you have literally made it such that that has to be the fucking case.
Now we have to have a deal, because right now, last week 2,000 soldiers died.
What's up, Zane?
2,000, and they're losing 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a week. So as we sit here and we talk, people are getting...
Who's losing that much, Is it the Ukrainians? Is it the Ukrainians that are losing that much? Or is it the Russians? Because we know what the Russian tactics are. It's all human wave tactics, which has very high casualty counts. Not being exactly, being a little obtuse here, Trump.
Shot and dying on the battlefield. And, you know, they're not American soldiers, but they're Russian soldiers and they're Ukrainian soldiers, and we want to be able to stop it. And we want to be able also to spend money on other things. We don't want to... This is a tremendous amount of money, and what the Biden administration did was...
It's literally, like... You want to know how much money this is overall? The amount of money that's being, like, taken from the American taxpayer in order to give to the Ukrainians. Well, some of it is being given to the Ukrainians. About, like, I think, not even like $100 billion has been given to the Ukrainians in terms of equipment. All of it's gone to American manufacturers. Like 60% of it has been given to American manufacturers to make weapons that then get shipped over to the Ukrainians. So most of it's actually been given to American companies to incentivize them to create the armaments. So this has actually really benefited the American economy. But again, Trump doesn't understand that because he's a fucking moron. If we're talking about this purely from an economic standpoint. And in terms of the amount that it's cost the taxpayer is like, it's not even a cent. Like, it's barely even a cent. I don't remember what the video was that explained this, but it said, like, yeah, the amount of money that's, like, coming out of this, out of the average American taxpayer, because it's military spending mostly, is, like, minuscule. It's, like, non-existent. It's like Boy Meets Minnie just said, a fraction of a penny on the dollar. It's nothing to the American taxpayer. But then again, that's just how fucking ridiculously rich America is. But, you know, it's actually like $2 trillion or something. That's like, he brings out the figure 350 billion. It's not even, it's like about half that. It hasn't reached 200 billion yet. I think it's about 180 billion dollars has been given to the Ukrainians. And like I said, about 60% of that has gone to American arms manufacturers. And then the rest of it has gone to the Ukrainians for aid, for other armaments given directly, you know, a bunch of other shit. A big portion of it has mostly been given to the, it's mostly just been given to the, to arms manufacturers.
Terrible. They were giving money, but they had no security on the money. Europe, as you know, gave much less money, but they had security. It was in the form of a loan. They get their money back, and we didn't. And now, at least we're protected because the American taxpayer...
Not true. If you literally look through the bills, they were all also loans from the Americans, or they just directly gave a bunch of old equipment. Quite literally, the equipment that's being given to the fucking Ukrainians, it would be more expensive on the American taxpayer to decommission that shit instead of just sending it over to the Ukrainians. Because that's what they're mostly getting. They're getting a bunch of old fucking equipment. In the meanwhile, Trump is like complaining about all the money that's being given to the Ukrainians, and literally today, he gave another $3 billion to Israel. Where's Donald Trump coming up with all this money for Israel? Oh, what's up? What's up with that? Seems a little strange.
It has to be protected too, but this is an incredible agreement for Ukraine, because we have a big investment
It's
in their
not.
country now, and what they have, very few people have. And we're able to really go forward with very, very high-tech things and many other things, including weaponry that we're going to use in many locations, but that we need for our country. This allows us to do this. Yes, go ahead, please.
Ukraine isn't where Jesus is coming back, you see. True.
This document, there is one of the very important points if we speak about business and investment. We never had LNG terminals in Ukraine. This document will open. I mean, the next document, but anyway, here we see in the framework, we see a really good deal for this. LNG terminals for us is very important, and I think for security of European continent. We have the biggest storage, gas storage. We have the biggest in Europe. Yes, and we can use it. Use it for LNG. We use it for LNG, and we will do it. And really, we can help Europe, because Europe really helped. President Trump said that they
That's true.
need, less support, but yeah, our
Keep in mind another big reason why a lot of the sort of like trickling of arms was started at the initial like sort of onset of the war, why it was mostly like a trickle to begin with, was because Europe was very reliant on like Russian gas. And they didn't really want, like, again, to show just like how much nobody wanted this fucking war, the only people who wanted the war was Putin and the Russians. They were the only ones who fucking wanted. And what I mean here, broadly speaking, as the Russians, I mean the state. The state of Russia. They were the ones who wanted this fucking war. Not the people. I don't think, like, the people are propagandized to believe in what they're supposed to believe in Russia. Because, you know, crackdowns on speech, blah, 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 blah. We all know the fucking meme. The fucking, getting distracted by Pokemon Go. Unova Go Tour. Broadly speaking, the only person who wanted this war was Putin. And his main, like, sort of, like, ultra-nationalist sort of, like, conspirators. And again, another, like, reason for as to why this war even started to begin with was, again, guess whose approval ratings were starting to go down a bit? Putin's were starting to go down. Because, you know, he wasn't really dealing well with the economy. Besides, like, 3 cities in Russia, the rest of it is a backwater fucking third world shithole. Like, a lot of average Russians don't even have basic fucking plumbing. Because, again, it's all about just wealth being transferred from the entirety of the country to the top, to the oligarchs. Shock therapy, the shock doctrine, never really left Russia. Even when Putin came back into power, his approval was starting to go down a little bit. And what do most dictators do? Again, when their approval starts to go down? Well, we have to stir up nationalist fervor and do an invasion of our fucking neighbors. Same playbook every fucking time.
And they are our very supportive partners. They really gave a lot, Mr. President. Yeah, really, they did.
They gave a lot, but they gave much less.
No.
Much less.
No. No.
Okay.
No, a lot of people, like, Europe had to step up significantly because of Republican abstemiousness. Like, they had to. A lot of arms, of course, it was like a logistical fucking nightmare because Europe wasn't really set up to fucking send all the fucking armaments. So it went by slowly, but in terms of loans, a lot of it was, and this was like mostly sort of headed by the Germans. The Germans were the main ones to fucking push for shit like this. They're the, the Germans, I believe, are the second biggest contributor, and they're not that far behind the U.S. U.S. is still the biggest, but Germany has also contributed a lot.
Mr. President Trump, you have repeatedly called the deal with Ukraine as a historical one. And as a president of the United States, you make historical decisions in other issues which affect America and other world. So what place in the world history do you want to take? And do you associate yourself with any famous historical figures?
Yeah, I'd say George Washington, Abraham Lincoln.
The fuck kind of question is this?
I would say I'm far superior to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Now, you know I'm only kidding, right? Because when I say that, the fake news is going to go wild. They're going to say he considers himself to be better than Washington. But you never know. You never know. I don't compare myself to anybody. I'm here.
Your poll numbers would say otherwise. Your honeymoon period's already over, and it's barely been a month. Your poll numbers are already fucking tanking, my dude. What are you talking about?
To do a job. We've had a great 35 days or whatever it might be, a month, a little more than a month, we've accomplished
Literally, the Atlanta Fed just like predicted a minus 1.5% growth to the GDP. The economy is like predicted to recess. And this was after about a month. Hilarious. Like where is that fucking thing from the Atlanta Fed? I thought the Trump economy was supposed to be big, beautiful, and successful. What do you mean? Because funnily enough, these were the same guys that initially predicted what a 2.5% growth, another 3.9% growth, and now they're estimating negative 1.5%. From 3.9% to negative 1.5. Of course, then there was like the other predictions going from what? From 3.9 to about 3 to about 2.3. Then cratering down to negative 1.5. That is insane. Yeah, true, Boy Meets Mini. I thought the radical left were the ones who wanted degrowth.
tremendous amounts. Not only this would be a very great achievement if we could get the war stopped and get them back to normalization. I think that's going to happen. We've had very good talks on both sides, as you know, but I think we've done a very good job, just generally. If you look at all of the things we've done in 30 days, they're saying there's never been a opening for a president. The first month, there's never been a first month like we've had. And this is one of the very important things. This, to me, is one of the most important things because we have tremendous death taking place as we speak. And I don't want to have that. You know, think of the parents, whether they're in Russia or Ukraine, think of the parents of all these people being killed needlessly.
You don't...
Should have never started. This would, if I were president, this would have never started.
Will you continue sending military aid to Ukraine after the U.S. signs this agreement with Ukraine?
Yeah, we're going to be continuing.
President Zelensky, do you feel like the U.S. is on your side? That the President Trump is on your side at this moment?
What do you think?
He wants to know, do you think that, sort of a stupid question. I guess we wouldn't be here if I wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. It seems like a pretty legit question to ask because you literally did a fucking goddamn... You literally did a goddamn peace summit negotiation attempt in Saudi Arabia where the EU and the Ukrainians were not fucking invited. I think it's a pretty reasonable question to ask if you... by that reporter asking, like, are you on the side of the Ukrainians? Like, are you? I don't know. I think that seems pretty, like, a pretty reasonable fucking question to ask. I don't know. I think it makes sense that someone should ask that question. I don't know.
I think that the United States on our side from the very beginning of occupation, and I think that President Trump on our side, and of course, I'm sure that the United States will not stop.
Honestly, I think Zelensky in his heart of hearts probably doesn't agree with that, but he kind of has to say it to make sure that Trump doesn't have, like, I don't know, a schizo fucking, like, re-crash out, like, moment. I'll be honest. I don't think he actually believes that.
This is crucial for us. It's important for us, yes. And Putin, the president speaks about the people and the soldiers which are dying, but they came to our territory, they came to our land. They began this war, and they have to stop.
That's true.
And I think this is the question, really the most important question. Can President Trump, I hope yes, with some other allies, to stop Putin, withdraw these enemies, and withdraw these troops from our land? And I think that you asked about the history. I think that if President, or when, he will stop Putin, if President Trump will bring peace to our country, I think he will be on this wall.
We've had very, very good talks.
Only the best talks. The greatest talks.
You just said that there will be no compromises with Vladimir Putin. I just wanted to ask both of you. Firstly, are there compromises that you think that President Zelensky is going to have to make? President Zelensky, is there anything that you might be thinking that you may be able to offer or bring to the table, for example, elections? Thank you.
I think you're going to have to always make compromises. You can't do any deals without compromises. So certainly he's going to have to make some compromises, but hopefully they won't be as
no
big as
shit.
people think you're going to have to make.
Whoa, yeah.
As an arbitrator.
Well, you have to make compromises in a deal? Well, no fucking shit, dumbass. But the compromises that you're asking for the Ukrainians to make is just like, hey, can you, like, give up everything so, you know, we can get this fucking deal done so I can have, like, do a little fucking political victory lap? That's like, because that's literally the position that Trump is holding. I want to do a little victory lap because clearly I'm the best just for the Ukrainians. But I can't do that because they're still at war, so I want to get my peace deal. That's not going to be a peace deal.
Extent between two parties that have been very hostile, to put it mildly. They've been very hostile. This has been a vicious war. This has been a vicious war. You know, it's a very level battlefield, and those bullets go out, and as I've said many times, we're talking about it with Pete, many times the only thing stopping those bullets is a human body. And in the case we're talking about, generally young human bodies are stopping a lot of bullets. It's dead level. That's why it's great farmland. It's great land. It's great farmland, but there's very little protection against the bullets that are being, and other things that are being shot. So all I can do is see if I can get everybody at the table and get an agreement. I think we're going to end up with an agreement. Otherwise, I wouldn't probably be even here today.
Mr. President, I've got two questions for you. You think ultimately your legacy will be a peacemaker and not the president that led this country into another war and ended foreign wars? And I've got a question.
I hope it will.
Oh, I wonder who asked that kind of a fucking question. Buddy, like, let's not even talk about the Israel and what's going on with the West Bank. Let's nix that fucking shit immediately in the bud. Okay, buddy.
I mean, I hope I'm going to be remembered as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing if we could do this. I'm doing this.
I don't think anyone's going to remember him as
Second,
that.
To save a lot of money, but I consider that to be far less important. So I hope I'm going to thank you, Brian, for that question. It was a nice question. I hope I'll be known and recognized as a peacemaker. This would be a great thing to solve. This is a very dangerous situation. You know, this could lead to a third world war. This was headed in the wrong direction. If this election were lost,
Buddy, you're the one who's exacerbating the situation by trying to fucking give Russia a sweetheart deal. What the fuck are you talking about? You're the one who's making it worse right now. Okay, dude.
we didn't win this election, and we won it by a lot. That was a mandate. We won every swing state. We won the popular.
Closest to fucking victory in modern American history. Never let them, by the way, never let them run with this fucking mandate fucking shit. Keep in mind also, Kyle Zelensky talking with George Palast, who talked with the elections count commission. I think it's what that's called. Through gerrymandering and other fucking sneaky, underhanded fucking tactics the Republicans do, not only through gerrymandering, but also purging of the voter rolls, Kamala Harris has lost about 3.5 million votes. So, is it really a fucking, like, mandate of the fucking people if you have to, like, purge about 3.5 million people from the voter rolls? I don't think so.
Vote by millions and millions of votes. We won everything. The districts, if you look at the areas of red, take a look at a map. This was a big mandate.
Is it George Palast? It's Greg Palast.
I said we're going to get this thing settled. If we didn't win, I think this could have very well ended up in a third world war, and that would not have been a good situation. What was your second
And
question?
my second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country.
Well, here's something that I've been seeing highlights about. Why don't you wear a suit? I don't know. Why do you fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene? Because, by the way, the dude asking this question is one of fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene's little fucking butt buddies. I don't know. Who the fuck cares? Why the fuck do you care? His country's in total war. Do you think he gives a fuck about wearing a suit right now? Why the fuck do you care? John Fetterman, that fucking ogre, walks around the halls of Congress in shorts and a fucking sweatshirt. Why the fuck kind of question is this? Stupid.
Office and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you own a suit.
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dignity of this office.
I don't think Americans have a problem with Zelensky wearing a suit. I don't think that's the case. But then again, the guy who's asking this question is some OAN fucking toady who fucks Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, you know. We're not exactly dude's not exactly operating with a full deck.
I will wear a costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one. Maybe something like yours. Yes. Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper. But yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Fucking dumb fuck question.
There's no peace.
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine. Yeah, sure. Hopefully, I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished.
Wait, what's that question?
Finishing. Yeah, we're going to have.
Maybe something.
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Arms to Ukraine. Yeah, sure. Hopefully, I won't have to send very much because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing.
Guys, I don't think there's gonna be
We're
peace.
not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things. But we very much appreciate the agreement because we needed what they had, and we're treating, our country is now treated fairly. Biden didn't do that. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. This should have never happened. This should have never started. But, sure, the answer
The
is...
war started in 2014, when Crimea was invaded by the Russians. We all know of the story of the little green men, Russian army units that have been documented as being a part of Russian military training, but they didn't have any patches on to say that they were, to have these sort of illusion that, oh, these are just like random dudes on like vacation or whatever, right? To sort of play into a facade, to have plausible fucking deniability. But Trump doesn't fucking know that, because again, he's a Russian stooge. Basically, Zane, like, there was reports that were done by multiple news outlets of a completely unmarked infantrymen going into Crimea. It was later found out through a bunch of different, like, Telegram posts and different posts on the internet that these were Russian units, that these were Russian infantrymen, men that were going in along with separatist units, because they also were operating along the Donbass, but mostly through in Crimea. They were unmarked, so you couldn't tell that they were Russian. So the Russians could have plausible deniability, saying like, "Oh, what do you mean? They were also separatists within Crimea," when all the separatists were in Donbass. Obviously, they were like, there was like nothing in Crimea, very little in Crimea. So they were completely unmarkated. They had no patches, no nothing on them. And they came in and took over Crimea. That's what happened. There was a couple of battles. Mostly in, like, I think it was like in Sevastopol. But it's pretty heavily implied that they were Russian army units. They just didn't have any other patches or anything on. Any identifiers. Nothing. Because it was all supposed to be an op. Yep. Kurt Strait. That also happened under Trump. That was when the if I recall correctly, the Kurt Strait incident. There's so much fucking shit happening that I always fucking forget. That was when they built the fucking bridge, right? Along the Kurt Strait incident. Yep, in 2018, during which the oh no, that was oh no, that was when they fired at the Ukrainian Navy. Right. That was when they fired at the Ukrainian Navy. It was Russian Coast Guard boats were shooting at the Ukrainian forces.
Much, because I'm looking forward to getting it done quickly, very quickly.
Does that provide security guarantees, Mr. President?
I don't want to talk about security yet because I want to get the deal done. You know, you fall into the same trap like everybody.
Yeah, he's never, like, Trump's never going to mention it, because the only way that's going to fucking happen is if you have security guarantees. No one, like, the Ukrainians are never going to fucking agree to this. Same with the fucking Europeans. They'll never agree to this. They won't recognize any deal if there's no security guarantees. So you kind of have to put security guarantees in the fucking forefront. But he doesn't want to give security guarantees because, A, it's gonna fucking make him look bad in the eyes of his, like, dipshit fucking, like, troglodyte supporters. It's gonna make him look bad to the fucking Russians. Because the Russians obviously don't want the, like, U.S. fucking potential troops on the fucking ground, because guess what? That is something that's definitely going to force any potential invasion, any potential incursion to be stopped wholeheartedly. Because that's a risk to nuclear war. As much as Putin likes to saber rattle about nuclear war, he never actually really commits the fucking bit. Never actually. He'll saber rattle. He'll pretend and be like, we're gonna nuke you, and it's just like, sure, man. Yeah, sure will. You sure will nuke us, man. And he never fucking does it. Because he knows that if he does it, he'll lose. Everyone in the world will immediately just turn against him. Even the Chinese. Like, it would be over. He'd be completely, like, isolated. And his dumbass would be fucking deposed. Even the oligarchs, I'm pretty sure, would be fucking against it. Like, it is just, like, strategically speaking, he's never gonna fucking do it.
Everybody else, a million times you said over and over, I want to get the deal done. Security is so easy. That's about 2% of the problem. I'm not worried about security. I'm worried
I don't think that's 2% of the problem. I think it's a bit much Much more significant portion of the fucking problem. Because again, what's the main fucking crux? Zelensky's willing to make a deal. He just wants to make sure that there's not another fucking goddamn Russian invasion. And he's willing to pay any price, including his own political power, to make sure there's not another fucking invasion. Because he doesn't trust the Russians. They've broken both Minsk Accords. What essentially Trump wants to do here is he wants a Minsk 3. A very sort of like loose security guarantee given to the Ukrainians, where nothing's really guaranteed, nothing's really set in stone or solid, where the Russians can sort of like argue like, oh, well, we kind of could do another invasion, and sort of like plausibly fucking deny it. Because again, they're not interested in the side of Ukrainians. He's a fucking Russian stooge. He's not interested in fucking helping out the Ukrainians here. He doesn't give a fuck about the Ukrainians. He actively doesn't like Zelensky. Because Zelensky, well, makes him look like a moron. And he's a friend of fucking Putin. Simply put. Which is why he's not gonna give fucking security guarantees, because it makes him look bad in the eyes of the Russians.
About getting the deal done. The security is the easy part. Security is very nice. Everybody stop shooting. And now will Europe put people there? I know
Sure,
France
man.
is going to. I know the UK is going to. I know other countries are going to, and they happen to be right next door. We haven't committed, but we could conceivably, we have security in a different form. We'll have workers there digging, taking the raw earth so that we can create a lot of great product in this country. So in that sense, you
Everyone stop shooting. What about the West Bank? What do you? I don't know. I don't know what a West Bank is. Don't you mean Greater Israel? We all know that the West Bank's actually a part of Israel.
something, but we haven't determined that yet.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck about that.
And it's speaking to, and they were here, as you know, last week and just the other day. They have committed to a lot of security. I don't think you're going to need much security. I think once this deal gets done, it's over. Russia's not going to want to go back, and nobody's going to want to go back. When this,
I don't think the Russians are going to really give much of a shit about random American workers. And would they actually send American workers into the fucking demilitarized zone to work on extracting those resources? Like I said before, would American companies even want to invest in like mines by a fucking demilitarized zone? I don't think so. That seems like a really big fucking risk for those companies to take. They probably don't want to do that. Probably not. That seems way too fucking risky.
deal ends, I really believe this deal is going to be over. Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Mr. President, thank you. You hosted Macron and Keir Starmer at the White House this past week, both of whom praised your courage and conviction to lead the pathway towards peace.
Yes.
Part of that involved, though, re-engaging Russia in diplomatic relations, something that previous leaders lacked the conviction to do so. What gave you the moral courage and conviction to step forward and lead that?
Well, I love this guy. Who are you with?
What American you, sir?
Well, that's why I like him.
Whoa, a OAN fucking dipshit asking another softball fucking question. Crazy. Like, so far it's been like half, like, it's like all the people who have been asking like good questions and just like complete 3 IQ fucking One American News Network fucking dipshits. Because again, guess who part of the press corps got kicked out by Trump because they actually asked questions, actual fucking questions. Reuters and AP. Crazy. Who would have thought?
American News does a great job. I like the question. I think it's a very good question. It's a pathway to peace. It's a pathway to getting something solved. And I feel that as the head of this country, I have an obligation to do that. Plus,
Yeah, it's not going to get anything solved.
It's too bad we got involved because there should have been no involvement because there should have been no war. And there shouldn't have been October 7th. That would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money to give to Hamas. They were stone cold broke.
We don't even have to do I even need to mention? No, what stoked everything up was because of the Abrahamic Accords. Hamas felt like it was in a political corner, so they had to act out and do something in order to disrupt the deal because they would have been completely fucked otherwise. It's not because Iran was being broke. The $300 billion that he's talking about that was returned to Iran was shit that was originally stolen by the U.S., so Biden was just like, this isn't ours. We're going to just give this back to you as a part of a deal of relieving some of the sanctions to sort of help sort of reinstate the fucking goddamn Iran nuclear deal, which Biden didn't really fucking follow up on, of course. The $300 billion that was given back to Iran was stuff that was stolen previously. But okay. Nice meme.
They went from no money to $300 billion in a period of 4 years, and they gave a lot of that money away, and you see what happened, and that's a real mess also that we hope to be able to solve. But no,
It's like a child's
just-
interpretation,
just-
honestly, of a
obligation to try and
geopolitical situation.
Do something to stop the death.
If I can answer, sorry, please.
And I do like your clothing, by the way.
Yeah,
Even though I think he's a great guy, by the way. And I don't know if you two like each other, but you know what? I think
No,
he's dressed.
I like this guy.
I think he's dressed beautiful.
So I have more serious things than answer on side questions.
that's
I will answer on more serious
a good
questions if I can.
That's
Yeah. So please, about security guarantees and about just ceasefire. We can't just speak about ceasefire and speak. It will not work. Just ceasefire will never work because I'm like a president. I have this experience, and not only me. Ukraine before my presidency from the 2014, Putin broken 25 times.
Yes.
25 times.
He's talking about Minsk here, the Minsk
His
agreement.
own signature. 25 times he broken ceasefire.
But he never broke to me. He never broke to
No,
me.
you were the president.
He
You were
never
the
broke-
president.
he
During,
never broke to me.
in 2016, you been the president, Mr. President. You've been the president, but he had.
He's talking about Kerch. The Kerch Strait incident, more than likely, is what he's talking about here. And the Minsk Accords were broken by the Russians. Part of the Minsk Accords was for the Russians to not do any form of economic coercion. Guess what the sort of like breakdown of the association agreement was? That was economic coercion being done by the Russians. So, blatantly just not true. Of course, that happened during Obama's tenure. The sort of breaking down of the which was one of the main things that helped catalyze the fucking goddamn invasion during 2014 into Crimea. And then, of course, further stuff like the Kerch Strait incident, the building of the Kerch Bridge as well, which also were violations of the Minsk Accords. In terms of that main important part, no invasion of Ukraine, and also don't do any form of economic coercion. Because again, the rest of the world, the UN, they didn't recognize Russia's annexation of Crimea. They didn't. They were just like, no. Like, you just invaded them. Like, we know what you did. We're not stupid. But, of course, he's never going to fucking acknowledge that. Because he doesn't fucking know this shit. Because he doesn't give a fuck.
Of course, not with you, but he had, during those periods, he had conversations with our side. And we had Normandy format, the France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia. And he broke it 25 times. That's why we will never accept just ceasefire. It will not work without security guarantees. Security guarantees, maybe the President is right about this document and other, but this document is not enough. Strong army is enough, because his soldiers afraid, Putin's soldiers afraid of our soldiers when we're strong enough. If we are not strong enough, if we are empty, if our storage is empty, we can't defend our land. Today, he knows that we have, all the world knows that we have meeting.
Which is why I've constantly said, like, the only way, like, anything is going to work in terms of negotiation is if you give the Ukrainians what they wanted to begin with. All the fucking arms that they were looking for. But again, because of fucking Western abstemiousness and also far-right fucking obstruction, particularly in fucking Congress, they were unable to get the fucking arms that they needed. Now, after all the fucking bullshit, all the disruptions, they finally got arms that they fucking needed. Now they have manpower problems. They now have the exact opposite problem from before. This is probably the biggest reason why the fucking the counteroffensive originally didn't fucking work. Because I think this was said by one of Zelensky's generals. He literally said, like, we've been only given like a quarter of what we asked for in terms of equipment. Like, we can try, but we don't have enough. Like, it's not going to be successful because the Russians have been given time thanks to all the obstructionism and abstemiousness by the fucking West in order to be able to fortify and entrench themselves, which means now we need more stuff in order to be able to have a breakthrough, similar to what they had in Kherson with the first counteroffensive, which was the sort of first, like, sort of catalyzation and like, oh, hold on, wait, the Ukrainians can actually be fucking successful if we give them equipment. Because originally, the West was reluctant to give them equipment, thinking like, I don't know, these guys are kind of like inexperienced, and there's, we don't know if it's going to be effective for us to give them our weapons. And then, Kherson, the counteroffensive in Kherson, which was very, very effective, took back a lot of fucking territory. And even a bit in the fucking It was in Kherson and also Kherson's up here, and then also. God, I always forget the second part of the counteroffensive, the initial counteroffensive. It was around like near Zaporozhye. It wasn't in Zaporozhye, but I fucking forget. Was Kherson in the back? Hold on, I want to make sure that I get this right. Ukraine counteroffensive. 2023 counteroffensive. So that was the one that I believe this was the first one. That was in southern Ukraine. Southern northern parts. No, this was yeah, so it was Kherson, and also I'm looking for the first counteroffensive. Kharkiv, that's what it was. This is the Kharkiv counteroffensive. Yeah, all like a bunch of the territorial gains were completely undone by the Ukrainians. Kharkiv was what it was in 2022. That's what I was looking for. It was with the Kharkiv counteroffensive, that was what convinced the West, like, oh, hold on, maybe these guys would be successful with our fucking weapons. You know, also when the Russians also got pushed back from Kiev, or Kiev rather, after, you know, they recognized like, oh, hold on, we're not being very successful or effective here. This might actually be harder than we thought. You know, the infamous, like, 3-day sort of fucking military operation. A special military operation. Which... some fucking special 3-day military operation that was, wasn't it, huh? Very, very funny. Well, that was the initial sort of convincer, and then they, mostly due to abstemiousness, even in some parts sabotage from the Russians themselves, the Ukrainians were just not getting any of the equipment that they needed. A lot of it was like delayed. There was logistical problems. There was a ton of fucking issues with it. They had the manpower, but never the fucking equipment. So they're just like, well, we can't delay the Kherson counteroffensive of 2023 for any longer. We have to like go. And they only had a quarter of the equipment that they wanted. So it ended up not really going anywhere because, again, at that point, Russians had about a year to fortify their positions. And they put in a lot of fortifications. Some of it was broken through. There was losses. And some of it was broken. But it wasn't enough. And so the counteroffensive petered out.
Yes? Why he's using ballistic? Putin today using ballistic on our hospitals, schools, and etc. Ballistic.
That's
so
true.
To know that we are here and that President Trump is really have goodwill to stop this war. And you hear now the president. So why he's using? So he doesn't want to stop. He doesn't want. But I hope that we will do it. Really, we'll do it. Security. When we speak about security guarantees,
I've said this before. It's not only the Israelis who are the only ones who fucking just bomb schools and shit in order to try to win a fucking war. It's also the fucking Russians. They do this. They do a lot of the exact same shit that the fucking goddamn Israelis do.
Europeans are ready for contingents. They need USA backstop. If there will not be United States, we will not never have any contingents, strong contingents from the Europeans, because they don't want to divide alliance, connection between the United States as the main and strongest ally and Europeans. And this is crucial, this is important. That's what we want to speak about very much. This is very important. And air defense. So air defense, really, we have big deficit with all these systems, and we need to provide this. We need it very much. Otherwise, Putin will never stop. And will go further and further. He doesn't want. He hates us, you know? It's not about me. He hates Ukrainians. He thinks that we are not a nation.
That's true.
And he shared these thoughts. I think maybe with your team also. I don't know. But with all the Europeans, in media, official and not, he always said that there is no such country, such nation, such language, and such life like Ukrainian. No, he really doesn't respect all the Ukrainians, and he wants to destroy us. And you're right, Mr. President.
Literally, the initial fucking rhetoric used to justify the fucking invasion of Ukraine was blood and soil tier shit. Which was fucking crazy. But, you know, Trump's probably actually okay with that because, you know, he himself is also a dipshit fucking fascist.
Yes. This document, maybe other documents, it's a very good start, very good, but it will not enough to stop this person.
Should Russia pay for people in Ukraine?
Mr. President, after these
Should Russia pay for people in Ukraine?
They have to pay. This is the rule. This is the rule of the war. This is the rule of the war. During all the centuries, all the history, this is the rule of the war. Who began, those pay. This is the rule. Putin began this war. He has to pay all money for innovation. He has to pay. Of course, some Russian assets what we have in Europe about
Seems
300
pretty
billion,
reasonable.
we can use them.
Putin should
We can
pay
do for innovation
reparations.
and buy military
Sure.
support from the United States also. We can do it, but it's not enough. It's not
President,
enough.
trilateral summit with Putin and Zelensky.
Wait, 1 second.
I asked this question that you didn't like because I wanted to know if you want to position yourself in the middle between Russia and
Yes.
Ukraine or on the Ukraine's.
No, I'm in the middle. I want to solve this thing. I'm for both. I want to get it solved. And
Time for fucking both. Fucking centrist Andy over here. He has to like sort of like fucking play this off in like stupid, like the dumbest fucking ways possible to not make himself look like a complete fucking stooge. Everyone already knows you're a fucking stooge, buddy. We saw that fucking UN vote where you voted to like not condemn the fucking Russian invasion. Like we know what fucking side you're on, broadly speaking. Why do you think the Europeans are taking the contingencies that they're taking right now with wanting to send their troops on the ground? Like what the fuck are you talking about?
it's wonderful to speak badly about somebody else, but I want to get it solved. If we can solve it, great. If we can't solve it, they're going to have to fight it out, and who knows what's going to happen. But I want to see it get solved.
May I follow up? One more question about U.S. troops in Europe. After Russian invasion of Ukraine, your predecessor sent additional troops to Eastern Europe, including Poland, my country.
Yeah.
Are you committed to keeping these troops on the eastern flank of NATO in the future?
I'm very committed to Poland. I think Poland has really stepped up and done a great job for NATO. They, as you know, they paid more than they had to. They are one of the finest groups of people I've ever known. I'm very committed to Poland.
What about Baltics?
Poland's in a tough neighborhood, you know.
What about the Baltics?
The Baltics.
He doesn't know what the Baltics
you know,
are.
it's a tough neighborhood too, but we're committed.
He doesn't know what the
We're committed to
Baltics
NATO.
are.
But
He
NATO has to
doesn't
step
know.
up, and the Europeans have to step up more than they have. And I want to see them equalize because they are in for
The
far less
tough
than we're in,
neighborhood.
and they should be at least equal.
Yeah, I wonder I wonder why it's tough over there, dude. I wonder who did that. I couldn't think of any particular reasoning. There's probably no reasoning for as to why that's the case. I don't know.
You understand that? Why is the United States, we have an ocean in between, why is the United States in for so much more money and other things as Europe? With that being said, and as you said, they've also been...
I've talked about why the excuse of, oh, we have an ocean in between. Ocean doesn't fucking mean shit in a globalized fucking economy, you dunce. Who the fuck cares? There is a lot of complicated, interconnected economic incentive structures for as to why fucking invasions have been stopped in the past. Because it's all about that fucking capital flow. Who the fuck cares about a fucking ocean? This isn't like World War fucking II anymore. This is dumb. It's ridiculous.
obviously very helpful.
Also, intercontinental ballistic missiles could give, honestly, less of a fuck about oceans. You fucking troglodyte. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's dumb. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
But we have put in far more than they have, and I think they should equalize.
Mr. President,
Please, go ahead.
about the agreement today, what changed between the first time that Secretary Bessent gave President Zelensky the agreement and today for the signing? What
We made a deal.
was the
I'm just,
deciding factor?
I'm a business person. We made a deal. That's what changed. I didn't think we were going to make a deal, and we ended up making the deal, so that changed.
Mr. President, what and how do you...
Yeah, like, we made a deal, as in, we're gonna extort you for money in order to give you protection. Because he's a fucking, like, he treats us as like a fucking mafia fucking... I mean, you know, New York real estate, dude. He definitely had mafia connections. Like, there's no way he didn't. You had to back in those fucking days, right?
Trilateral summit with President Zelensky and Putin.
I don't know, but well, they don't like each other. I can tell you that. Okay?
I wonder
They don't
why.
like each other. This is not a love match, and it's unfortunate. That's why you're in this situation. The United States should not have allowed this to happen. Okay? The United States, run by a man that didn't know much. I'm going to be very nice.
He's gonna pin it on Biden. It's not because of Biden, the reasoning for that this happened. It's because of general fucking, like, abstemiousness from people like yourself. Because you are pro-Putin. And also, we could throw in Obama here a little bit. Normalization of relations with the Russians also fucking helped catalyze this invasion. It was a gamble, obviously, that Obama wanted to take to help start normalizing the relationships. It clearly didn't fucking work. Thanks, Obama. Thank you, Obama, for doing this. It's not because of Biden. Biden, you can argue, probably did Honestly, I would just say because he was too much of a fucking coward to just muscle through the fucking Republicans. At certain fucking points in time, he did. But generally speaking, he was just a coward who didn't really do much of anything.
Run by an incompetent person, very incompetent person, should never have allowed this to happen. I've stopped wars. I've stopped many wars. My people will tell you, I stopped wars that nobody ever heard about. I stopped wars before they ever started.
Buddy, Abrahamic Accords helped catalyze the shit in Gaza. You're the one who helped exacerbate problems in the Syrian civil war. So there was a Sarcasmatron video, highly recommend, about like the talking point that fucking Trump has done in terms of stopping wars. He hasn't really stopped that many wars. Like Kurt Strait incident, that was under his presidency. All the shit that fucking happened in Syria, that fucking happened because of him. The complete shit show pullout of Afghanistan, that happened because of him. Did they have the U.S. was still in Iraq under his fucking presidency. Let's not even talk about the amount of drone strikes that were constantly happening in Africa. Plus 432%, up from fucking Obama's numbers. Obama is known as the fucking goddamn drone operator in chief. This guy fucking blew Obama's numbers out of the fucking water in terms of the amount of drone strikes he did. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think that's an accurate statement for you to say that. Oh wait, I was the best actually. I was a peace negotiator. I'm a negotiator, guys. I had so much peace. I'm the most peaceful guy ever. So I don't think so. I don't think that's an exactly accurate, my dude.
Started. You can look at some of. I could give you a lot of nations that would tell you right now they were probably going to war. I can tell you right now there's a nation thinking about going to war on something that nobody in this room has ever even heard about. Two smaller nations, but big, still big. And I think I've stopped it.
Like, what is he talking about?
Sorry, just...
Yeah, like, waffle? That was just, like, what? If there was something, you would fucking take credit for it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just a waffle. Like...
Second, about any negotiations. First of all, I want really to tell you, and I think that everybody understands, that Ukraine, more than Ukrainians, nobody wants to stop this war. But in the future, any negotiations, it's understandable that two sides of the war, not Russia and the United States, because this is not the war between Russia and the United States. This is war of Russia against Ukraine and Ukrainian people. So these two sides,
that's true,
will be at will be at the negotiation.
Yeah, because a lot of fucking dipshits, and we're gonna get to some of those fucking dipshits, say that Ukraine is like fucking American proxy state. In what way exactly? Because like they gave the pimbly-wimbly like Minsk Accord agreements where the Ukrainians decided to get rid of their fucking nukes. Stupid. That's ridiculous. Like, what are you talking about? We'll get to those. We'll get to them.
A negotiation table. Then, of course, United States, like the strongest partner of the Ukraine, and of course Europe. I think Europe is very important. I want to speak about it with the president. Yes, Europe is very important for us because we really defend Europe for today. All Europeans really recognize that we are defending the line and they have real life and our people are dying. That's why they helped us. And also it's about the NATO. Yes, between, like the president said, you have big, nice ocean. Yes, between us. But if we will not stay, Russia will go further to Baltics and to Poland, by the way. But first to the Baltics. It's understandable for them because they've been...
Oh, this is, he's gonna get fucking triggered about this, by the way. And he's right. The Russians would just invade more and more people. Like, they have no reason not to. They already have, like, if the Ukrainians, for example, if they go down, let's say hypothetically, and the Russians do manage to take over the whole of the country, you want to know who'd be immediately next? Moldova. There's already Russian troops within Transnistria. They could just invade the rest of the country. Fuck it. I mean, they could. Not like Moldova's a part of NATO or anything. They don't have protection, or like a part of the broader EU. They don't have those fucking protection. Yeah, you know, I don't know if they would go into Romania. But I mean, who the fuck knows what exactly they could do? I don't know if Putin would go all the way into fucking Romania. That's a fucking risk because you know, NATO membership and everything. But you know, fuck it. You don't really know. these are unprecedented fucking waters that we fucking find ourselves in. And also, do you really want the Poles to be bordering the fucking Russians? The Poles fucking hate the Russians. Like, yeah, I don't even think that like the Russians would be willing to go into Poland. Crazier things have happened, of course, but you never fucking know.
They've been in the USSR, you know, they've been one of the republics of the USSR, and Putin wants to
That's
bring
true.
them back to his empire. It's a fact. And when he will go there, if
That
he
is
will
true.
not stay, you will fight. Your American soldiers, it doesn't matter, do you have ocean or not, your soldiers will fight.
Mr. President, would you be willing to visit
That's
Ukraine?
true, because what he's talking about there is Article 5 would be called. If it was the Baltics, if Putin were to invade the Baltics, Article 5 would be called. If Putin were to invade Finland, because they were a part of the Russian Empire, Article 5 would be called. Finland is a part of NATO now. If they were to go after Romania or Poland, guess what? Article fucking 5 would be called. And there would be American boots on the ground. Guaranteed. Unless, of course, and I know that this has been floated, broadly speaking, the Americans leave NATO. Which, who the fuck knows? Trump has done so much fucking stupid, idiotic fucking shit that he might just do that. Who knows?
Maybe Kiev or Odessa, which is going to be a third year of Black Sea.
It was my question.
I don't want to talk about Odessa now. Let's not talk about Odessa. I want to talk about making a deal, getting peace. We don't have to talk about Odessa, but a lot of cities have been destroyed.
He doesn't. He doesn't know what Odessa is.
Recognizable. There's not a building standing.
No,
And a lot of
you have to come,
things.
Mr. President, you have to come and to look. No. We have
Not he's thinking of Mariupol. Mariupol was razed to the fucking ground. Not Odessa. Odessa was parts of Odessa were destroyed, but it was mostly defended by the Ukrainians. The Russians never made it that far. They have attacked Odessa with missile attacks. But I don't think the Russian military made it as far as Odessa. He's thinking of Mariupol. Mariupol was razed to the fucking ground.
very good cities. Yes, a lot of things been destroyed, but mostly cities alive, and people work, and children go to school. Sometimes it's very difficult, sometimes closer to front line. Children have to go to underground schools or online, but we live. Ukraine is fighting, and Ukraine lives. This is very important. And maybe it's Putin is sharing this information that he destroyed us. No, he lost 700,000 people, 700,000 soldiers. He lost everything. Yes. So,
Mr. President, more. I mentioned Poland.
Please go ahead.
When did you last speak with President Putin? And what did he say?
A couple of days ago.
And what did he tell you that gave you the assurance that he wanted peace?
Well, that's what I do. My whole life is deals. I know pretty good. And
He's
I
not
really,
gonna answer this
I've
question.
known him for a long time. I've dealt with him for a long time. He had to suffer through the Russia hoax. You know, Russia was a hoax. It was all Biden. It was nothing.
Yeah, it was not a hoax. Also, that was Hillary Clinton who did it, not Biden. Why the fuck are you talking about Biden in this particular instance? Again, this is how you can tell. Like, his brain is just soup. There's nothing going on in there. It wasn't Biden who catalyzed the fucking supposed Russia hoax. And also, guess what? The Mueller report, Russiagate, did find that dudes like Paul Manafort were working with the fucking Russians in order to get fucking dirt on Hillary Clinton. It was true. It did fucking happen. The Mueller report was accurate. But he has to, like, fucking cope and seethe about it. Because it ended up being fucking true. The libs were correct about that one. They were right. They were not wrong about the whole of Russiagate.
To do with him. So he had to suffer through that, and he was able to do that. I think that he wants to make a deal. And
It's really funny how he says, like, Putin was the one who had to suffer through Russiagate. Because Russia. Silly.
And
obviously.
that's what I do my whole life. That's what I do is make deals. And I'm in the middle of a mess because this is.
Buddy, you've had 6 fucking bankruptcies. You managed to bankrupt the casino. How do you fucking do that? It's a casino. The house should always win, and you fucked it up.
A real mess. It's a very dangerous one. If this doesn't get solved now, it's not going to get solved for a long time. So I hope we're going to get it solved. In the back, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prime Minister Farmer claimed repeatedly that his government believes in free speech and was not engaged in censorship. But his country is threatening to arrest people for memes and thought crimes, and even more worrisome is pressuring.
What the fuck kind of dumb fuck question is this? People in the UK are getting arrested for thought crime. You can tell that, like, this fucking press corps, Jesus Christ, they're filled with fucking 3 IQ troglodytes.
American companies to censor Americans on his behalf. How can he be a reliable, trustworthy partner when he says things that are demonstrably false on such an important topic?
Well, we actually spoke to him about that yesterday, and we thought they took it very, very much too far.
Okay, I don't fucking understand. Like, I talked about this before. Different countries have different standards of fucking goddamn motherfucking... Well, it's... Trump is the one who picks the White House press corps, but I fucking digress. Literally, why are you applying American free speech standards when I've said about this before? I've talked about this before. The First Amendment is rather laissez-faire with what you can do in terms of free speech. It's not going to be the same in every fucking country, you morons. For example, if you talk positively of the Nazis in Germany, guess what? You go to fucking jail. That's a, you know, that is a attack on free speech, technically speaking. That is an attack on free speech. But some topics, some fucking things, you just should not be fucking tolerated. Simply put, I don't understand. Like, what does it take for fucking conservatives to understand? Like, just because, like, you have free speech, it doesn't mean you're free of the fucking consequences of some of the stupid shit that you've said. We've seen every fucking free speech fucking platform that's been created by all the right-wingers. You know what it's always devolved to? Fucking posts about child pornography and, like, other fucking degenerate Nazi tier shit. And it's always degenerated into that. Every fucking time. But I mean, conservatives don't care about that because they don't give a fuck about free speech. I've talked about this before in multitudes amounts of videos. Like the Jimmy the Giant video that I talked about, where the right can never, like, talk about any of their issues honestly at all. Because if they do, everyone would fucking hate it. They always have to, like, fucking signal and ring a bell and, like, distract you with fucking keys about something else. They always have to. Because if they talk honestly about the things that they believe in, no one's gonna fucking agree with them.
JD was very strong on it. So was I. So was Marco. And we've been speaking to him about it. Marco, would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, we have concerns, obviously, with the conduct of theirs, particularly as it impacts Americans. And there's real concern that American speech, which is online, could fall into the hands of British or any country's jurisdiction. And so this is a point the Vice President made in Munich, and I think it's a very compelling one that unites us with Europe.
Good. Whoa, you're breaking their fucking laws, and they can, like, stop your fucking particular speech. I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's their fucking laws. That's up to them to fucking decide. Why the fuck is it up to you guys to fucking decide? I thought we were like, I thought we were like America first or some shit here. Who are you? Who are you to say what a fucking other country can do with their fucking particular free speech laws? Why the fuck do you care? Maybe they shouldn't have said that stupid shit on wherever fucking country those Americans were. Maybe they shouldn't have said the fucking stupid shit they said and broken those fucking laws. Sucks to fucking suck. You're on their fucking soil. You have to adhere to their fucking rules. What happened to law and order? I don't know.
Just anything else is these shared values, and one of them being free speech. And so if Americans are threatened by it, we're going to need to take action in that regard.
It's actually a very important question.
We spoke about this in detail with the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary, and others at lunch yesterday, and I know that Secretary of Commerce Lutnick followed up in private meetings last night. This is really important. We believe Americans have the right to speak their mind, even if we in this room disagree with them. They have the right to speak their mind in the public square, which is often online these days. And we're going to defend that right as it pertains to American companies and American citizens vigorously if we have to.
See, here's the thing. That's fine and all, but that's if you're on American soil. If you're on the soil of another fucking country, you are going to be judged by their fucking laws. And that's just how it fucking is. Like, sucks to fucking suck. What, are other countries not allowed to have, like, their own laws or some shit? Does everything have to adhere to fucking America? What happened, again, like I said before, what happened to fucking America fucking first? Why the fuck do you care so much about the actions that other fucking states have?
I do think that under the President's leadership, we're going to find common ground with our friends in the UK on this question, but it remains to be seen. The principle that will guide us is we believe in free speech in this country, and we'll fight for it for American citizens.
Yeah, they sure do believe in free speech. You know, unless it's like stuff that talks shit about on our fucking Mr. Orange Man over here. Then I don't know. Yeah, sure, yeah, you guys definitely believe in free speech, sure.
A little bit. We'll see.
On LNG?
But we're not really looking for that so much. We got a lot. We have more than anybody in the world, by far. So no, we're not talking about it too much, but a little bit. I think it affects also, but for the most part, no.
You see Denham's had her meme about this yeeted from X? Free speech. I thought Elon was the free speech guy. What happened?
Is there any agreement from Ukraine to purchase U.S. LNG as part of the deal, or is that on the table at all?
No, we don't need that.
President, I just wanted to ask you about, you just mentioned that you guys spoke to Vladimir Putin a couple of days ago. Just to be clear, that's a new call.
Wait, I want to hear that question about the rare earth minerals from that one lady. I think she was about to ask a really good question. Talking about, like, the things that I've been fucking talking about. A lot of those fucking goddamn minerals are in the eastern parts of the country. Right by where the fucking demilitarized zone is being proposed. So how the fuck are companies gonna fucking get that shit, Trump?
I've spoken to him on numerous occasions.
Okay, and how was the latest call? What did you discuss? How did it go?
Are you serious with that question?
I am, I'd love to know.
It went well. I think we're going to have a deal.
On the minerals deal, Mr. President, some of those minerals are in the east of Ukraine, not far from the front lines and in areas that Russia has occupied. Will you direct President Putin to withdraw?
That is a very good
from those
question.
areas if there's U.S. interest
Well,
there?
we'll take a look at the time. We have a lot of area. It's a very big area we're talking about, so we'll take a look. I'll study that and I'll see.
And who would protect those minerals?
He's
if
not
they
gonna
are
study
Would
that.
be Ukrainian
They'll be
forces,
protected. The
European
agreement will
forces?
protect them.
US
The agreement, yeah, we're signing an agreement.
He's not going to commit to putting U.S. because he doesn't want to commit to putting U.S. troops on the ground because it would make him look bad. Like I've been constantly fucking harping on this point. He doesn't want to put American troops on the ground because he wants to basically give the Russians everything that they fucking want, which means no American troops on the ground. And because it would make him look really bad to his base if he were to put American troops on the ground. But like I said before, this is where he's essentially caught between a rock and a hard place. He can't commit to putting troops on the ground, but there's no way the deal is going to be possibly enforced unless those fucking troops are on the ground. Because do you think, like, the Russians are going to care if, like, European peacekeepers are on the fucking ground there? Probably not. He'd care if there were Americans. Because he's afraid of the Americans. He's not so as afraid as he's not as afraid of the Europeans because, again, the amount of Russian meddling that's been going on within European elections, there's quite a good fucking foothold of a lot of the far right within Europe, within the broader parts of the Western Europe, who probably won't be as committed to them. Although I find this dichotomy to be rather interesting because, again, a lot of the far right within the western parts of Europe are no longer as Euro fucking skeptic as they fucking used to be. Mostly because, and you can make like a sort of argument here, this can be like sort of quibbled about, because of just how bad the fucking invasion that the Russians have been conducting. It's been a fucking mess for them. 3-day special military operation going into its 3rd fucking year, right? It's been over 1,000 fucking days. 3-day operation, by the way. So, I mean, it's made them lose a little bit of faith within the fucking sort of like Russian project, broadly speaking, amongst the far right in Europe. And this was sort of something that's been catalyzed by Giorgia Meloni and the Italians. The sort of like, maybe we shouldn't be as, tied to the hip of the Russians as we have been. They seem to be kind of weak.
What if Russia tries to invade or orders Russian aggression in response?
I just told you I don't think that's going to happen. And if that were going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal. If I thought that was going to happen, I wouldn't make a deal.
Some people may wonder why.
It's probably gonna happen.
Survival, not asking me these ridiculous
So yeah.
Focus on surviving because CNN's got such low ratings. I don't think they're going to survive. Let's go. Please.
I already mentioned Poland. Poland was under Russian control for decades after the Second World War. When I was a kid, I looked at the United States not only as a most powerful country, richest country in the world, the country that has great music, great movies, great muscle cars, but also as a force for good. And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" It doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned.
Then why the fuck did you... Okay, you're not aligned with Putin. But then why... Okay, why the fuck did you have that Saudi Arabian fucking conference with only you, the House of Saud, and the fucking goddamn Russians, where you did not invite any of the fucking Europeans or the fucking Ukrainians, the two sides who, are more impacted by this fucking goddamn conflict? You didn't fucking invite them at all. Like, what do you mean? You're not a fucking Russian stooge. everyone, broadly speaking, seems to disagree with that. A lot of the fucking goddamn shit that's come out to you because the fucking of the investigations by Robert Mueller also seem to disagree with that. I think you might be on the side of the Russians there, buddy. I don't know about that.
Aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but...
I wonder why he might have that fucking hatred. It's not his fucking it's not your civilian population that's getting constantly bombed. They're not in total fucking war. You have nukes. You're gonna be fine. No one's ever gonna fuck with the U.S. The U.S. is an economic juggernaut. No one's ever gonna fuck with the U.S. But okay, dude. Nice meme.
I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a
I
question
wonder
of
why
alignment.
that's the case.
I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to...
Again, like I said, if you're aligned with Europe and the world, why the fuck would you not have the other main fucking sides within this fucking conflict at the fucking goddamn peace summit that you were trying to hold in Saudi Arabia? If that were the fucking case. It seems like that's not... I don't think you're on the side of the world. I don't think you agree... I think you wanted to do that to give your fucking Russian butt buddies a fucking sweetheart deal. Because you don't know how to make deals. We even saw, like, all the shit that went on with the fucking tariffs. Literally, Mexico and Canada had to give nothing, and you backed off of the fucking tariffs. Making yourself look incredibly fucking weak. And we basically just did nothing. Incredible.
It'd be tough. I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's
yeah, sure.
All right, one more question.
I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who
oh,
stood
here
at press
comes
conferences and
here
talked
comes this
about
guy.
Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country.
What the fuck are you talking about? The invasion happened in 2014, you fucking nonce. But then again, JD Vance is a fucking dipshit tradcath. He's a fucking, like, no different than Groypers. And this is the same shit that those fucking morons fucking say all the fucking time. Yeah, literal fucking Opus Dei shit. Like, this is complete fucking nonsense. It's not Biden's fucking fault that the invasion fucking happened. Ukraine was already getting invaded at that point. They were already under attack by the Russians. Do we need to fucking, once again, say, hey, dink doink, conservatives, I'm jingling some fucking keys to get your fucking attention here. Kerch Strait incident. That happened under Donald Trump. But okay. It's all Biden's fault. Because again, they can't ever take responsibility for their own fucking actions. Always have to deflect blame at all fucking times. Always. What happened to pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and being responsible, conservatives? Like, what's up with that? What's going on? Why can't you guys do that?
The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the...
Joe Biden has spoken to the Russians during his tenure at least 3 times and never ended up anywhere. The rest of Europe also multiple times tried to talk with Putin. It never fucking amounted to anything at all. Diplomacy was tried, and it failed every single time because I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Neither side can fucking agree to anything. Negotiations are a 2-way street, not a 1-way street. Like how these guys wanted fucking
happen. The President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
And it's fucking hilarious that these guys want to talk about engaging in fucking diplomacy when literally they do all the fucking thumping of their chests all the time with like shit on fucking Gaza. They want to do the fucking hard power on fucking Gaza for the benefit of the Zionist project within fucking Israel. But okay, dude, Yeah, fucking the United States sure does care about fucking negotiations. Sure, man. The Republicans really do care about that shit. Unless it's with military contracts at risk, then I don't know about that.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So
he sure did.
During a lot of years, I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact
2015.
2014.
2014.
No, it's 2014.
I was not here.
Yeah, but,
exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying.
It wasn't talked as much about the sort of the fights between the Ukrainian military and the separatist forces, but there were fights between those two forces, and that happened, dink doink, during your fucking first term, buddy. I'm gonna keep mentioning it over and over again. Kerch Strait incident, where the Russian Navy fired on Ukrainian vessels. Sunk and destroyed them, obviously. But who fired the first fucking shots? Oh, it was the fucking Russians.
On the contact line. Nobody stopped.
Not to mention also the little green men, the unmarked Russian units that accompanied the separatists and were the ones who did the invasion into Crimea.
You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversations, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president, in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron.
That was Minsk too.
Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract.
Yeah, and that was the Minsk II agreements. Obviously broken, not instantly, but eventually got completely broken by the fucking invasion in 2024. Or in 2022, not 2024.
Gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken the ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come to the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now...
Brother, you're the one who fucking started all this. Yeah, this is also the other fucking clip that's sort of making the rounds of like this 3 IQ Groiper troglodyte, JD Vance over here, this LARPy fucking Catholic, this dipshit, this fucking absolute nonce, talking about a topic that he has like literally no fucking idea. Like, what are you talking about? You're the one who brought it up, buddy. You're an embarrassment.
You guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems.
Let's not talk about the forcing of conscripts of mostly religious and ethnic minorities that the Russians are also doing. Let's not do any of that. That might make my point look bad. JD, are you sure you want to fucking go with this point, buddy? You sure about that one, my friend?
You should be thanking the president.
Yeah, and from the global south. Also, North Korean conscripts, which apparently, you know, they might be taking back some of their equipment because they don't have the money to be able to sustain given that much equipment to the Russians. Uh-oh. Hilarious.
President for trying to bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to. I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people.
I've seen stories. I've never been to Ukraine, but I've seen some stories. Hilarious.
You bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
Literally, what the fuck are you talking about? Let's not talk about the amount of Russian propaganda tours that have constantly happened. That might make me look bad in my stupid, like, retard 3 IQ troglodyte argument that I'm making. But, you know, sure. A country that's in complete fucking total war, is trying to do everything possible. Like I've said before, is conscription a good thing? No. But it's understandable that the Ukrainians have to fucking do it because, again, they're in total war. This is a fight for their fucking survival. They have to do everything possible to try to defend themselves. So, you know, nice fucking meme there, JD. Let's not talk about the amount of, like, conscripts at all that fucking the Russians have constantly recruited. You know, that might make me look bad. I don't know about that one. What else? How the fuck do you know what's going on in Ukraine? I've never seen your goofy ass go to Ukraine. Has Trump even been in Ukraine? I assume he probably has been. He's definitely sent representatives to Ukraine. Has Trump ever been to Ukraine? Does he know what's going on there? I don't know. I'm inclined to think probably not. Fucking propaganda tour. Like, JD Vance, they literally, like, in Russia, they give families money to try to fucking get more fucking soldiers. That is what they do in Russia. To try to get more conscripts. Give them a sort of lump sum payment. To make them, to incentivize forcing people to join the army. They've even pressed fucking people in jail to join, like, mercenary groups. Fucking penal brigades. Literally fucking 40K tier shit. Ridiculous. To be honest, I don't think, like, Ukraine has, like, pressed people within jail in order to fucking pressed people in jail forcibly in order to fucking join in the fucking goddamn fight. I know that they've given incentives to people in jail, in Ukrainian jails, to go to the fucking front lines to fight. But that's a little different than besides fucking forcing them to do that, because the Russians have forced people in jails to join, like, mercenary brigades. But nice meme.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning. Sure. First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean, and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless. You don't know that. God bless. God bless. You will not have war.
Trump is triggered. Trump is triggered because his dipshit talking point is getting directly fucking challenged here.
Don't tell us what we're gonna feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
What are you fucking talking about, dude? Like, you are gonna feel it. It's a globalized fucking economy. Everyone fucking felt it immediately. Yeah, he's just mad.
You're in no position to dictate what we're gonna feel. We're going to feel very good. We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position.
I wonder why, like, Zelensky was not put into a very good position. Could it be anything in particular that you might have done? You know, maybe, just maybe, you know? But again, we're talking about, like, far-right dipshits here, incapable of, like, a self-reflection.
Happens to be right about
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't have to play cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with...
If anything, you're the one who's gambling with World War III, giving Russia a fucking sweetheart deal, incentivizing them to keep fucking going with their imperialist project, you fucking dumbass. By not giving the Ukrainians any of the things that they fucking need in order to defend themselves. Like, what are you fucking talking about? It's just dumb. He's just mad that his dumbass fucking talking point is getting directly fucking challenged. And Zelensky's been doing quite alright, rhetorically speaking, dealing with these two fucking morons who have no depth and no fucking understanding of any of the fucking of what the fuck they're fucking talking about here. It's incredible.
World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting.
That's hilarious. Have you said thank you once? Yeah, not 0 times to retards like yourselves who are trying to give the Russians literally everything they want. What the fuck do you mean have you said thank you? Why the fuck would Zelensky thank you to fucking troglodytes? You've literally given him nothing and have given his enemies everything they wanted. What the fuck do you mean thank you? Insane.
You said thank you. You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of...
Yeah, because guess what? The Democrats are probably going to be the ones who are more supportive of the Ukrainian cause. Unlike you fucking dipshits. And is what JD Vance even saying here the truth? Probably not. He lies about as much as his troglodyte fucking daddy over here.
Of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly.
So they're so bad.
It's in big trouble. Wait a minute. No, you've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks.
You haven't been alone. You haven't been alone. We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted for your president.
I've already talked about how it's not $350 billion. The amount is probably more like $180 billion. And about 60% of that, you can even look it up, went to American arms manufacturers. It went mostly to American arms manufacturers. It helped the U.S. economy. And also, the stuff that does go to Ukraine, it's mostly old equipment that was about to be decommissioned anyways, which would have been more expensive to decommission on the American taxpayer in comparison to sending it over to the Ukrainians. So, yeah, this is just nonsense.
Military equipment, and you men are brave, but they had to use our military. If you didn't have our military equipment,
I love how this guy complains about like yelling and stuff like that, and he's the one who's like shouting over Zelensky right now. Nice fucking meme.
If you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in 3 days. yeah. He says it. Yeah, 3 days. Yeah, definitely. Sure.
Putin in 3 days. This is something
maybe less.
In 2 weeks. Of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this.
Again, just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those.
Why the fuck? Like I said before, why should he fucking say thank you to a troglodyte like you, who's just been constantly dumping on Zelensky and the Ukrainian people? Why the fuck should he be grateful to you, you ingrate? You literal fucking nonce? You knuckle-dragging fucking retard? Why should he be thankful to you? You just decided to come into an argument in which you are completely out of your fucking depth, going with, like, stupid 3 IQ Groiper fucking talking points because you're a fucking little Nazi freakazoid who doesn't know shit about fucking anything when it comes to this fucking war. Probably only started learning 3 fucking things about it in, like, maybe, like, 2023 because, guess what? Fuck. I'm in Congress now, and I don't know shit about anything. I'm a 3 IQ fucking troglodyte. I'm a stupid moron who doesn't know shit about anything. So, fuck, now I have to learn shit about this stuff. You don't know fucking anything. And you're the one who's being actively disrespectful. Get the fuck out of here. Like I said before, East Europeans constantly having to fucking suffer under the whims of dipshit fucking imperialists. Every fucking time. It's a story literally as old as time itself. Has happened throughout history. God knows how many fucking times. More than I can fucking count on my fucking fingers. And this fucking retard over here has the fucking audacity to fucking, like, lecture Zelensky on fucking shit like this. Fuck you. You know shit. You decided to come into a fucking argument that you're completely out of your fucking depth on. Get the fuck out of here, moron.
Disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers.
This is incredible. This is incredibly patronizing from the fucking guy who wants to give the fucking mortal enemy of the guy he's in total war with the sweetheart fucking peace deal. In-fucking credible. With 0 fucking security guarantees for the fucking Ukrainians. Guaranteeing another fucking invasion. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go, and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire?
They don't want a ceasefire that you're fucking proposing, you fucking moron. That's what he's fucking saying. But you're too much of a fucking power-tripping megalomaniac to fucking understand that no sometimes means no. I mean, this guy is a fucking rapist. Has been on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. Has been to Little St. James multiple fucking times probably. Probably has fucking raped children. Allegedly. But, you know. He doesn't understand. He can't fucking take no for an answer. So he gets mad and fucking triggered. Fucking moron.
said to you,
I want a
with
ceasefire
guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
Doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you
That's
what
true.
That
they
wasn't with me.
It
That was with
wasn't
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
This
That
is
was
your-
What are you fucking talking about? The only reason why he can bring up Biden is because, again, he has like no depth or understanding of like fucking any of the fucking contexts or history of the fucking conflict. He doesn't know. He just doesn't know. So he just has to like talk about his like 3 IQ troglodyte fucking talking points. Because again, like I said before, he's an idiot.
That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins.
What does that even fucking mean? What? Like nonsense. What is the context of this? I'm curious. What? Obama gave sheets. Trump gave javelins. What the fuck does that even mean? Did Obama give sheets to Ukraine? Trump's comment at Zelensky shouting match explained. During a heated Oval Office exchange, Trump mocked Obama's Ukraine aid, saying he gave sheets. He referred to Obama's $600 million in non-lethal assistance. Okay, so non-lethal stuff. Especially blankets, but including vehicles, night vision goggles, body armor, and training. Trump contrasted this with his administration's approval of lethal aid, military aid to Ukraine. Okay? Heated exchange. Trump said that former president gave sheets. Yes, they gave non-lethal assistance. Okay, blankets, vehicles, night vision goggles, body armor, training assistance. Trump, Zelensky, and Vance were engaged in heated argument. To this, Trump replied with a ceasefire with guarantees. It was a Biden-era policy. With his legacy in the Obama administration, that was Obama who gave you sheets and I gave you javelins. I gave you javelins. In fact, the statement is Obama gave you sheets and Trump gave you javelins. You got to be thankful. Yeah, that's what he just said. What did Barack Obama give to Ukraine? The Obama administration declined to provide Ukraine with lethal weapons in 2014 to combat a Russian-backed separatist, opting instead for military and security aid beyond just blankets, as Trump frequently suggests. There were concerns that sending lethal weapons such as Javelin anti-tank missiles could provoke Russian President Vladimir Putin into escalating the conflict. Yep, same old fucking tired sorry excuse, which didn't fucking matter, obviously. So between 2014 and 2016, the Obama administration ultimately provided more than $600 million in security assistance. Notably, in March 2015, the administration provided over $120 million in security aid and pledged an additional $75 million in equipment, including counter-mortar radars, night vision devices, and medical supplies, according to U.S. Department of Defense. The U.S. also committed to supplying 230 Humvees. That could be lethal assistance. No, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's a sort of way to get around the sort of like lethal fucking assistance fucking thing. Right? Giving them the Humvees, because you can mount the fucking weapons on top of the fucking Humvees, obviously. It's a very versatile vehicle. You can put a lot of fucking weapon systems on there and shit. So I guess technically speaking, what Trump is saying isn't exactly inaccurate, but it's a lot of things that can eventually be turned into lethal aid. It's kind of... It's like a half-truth. It's not false, but he's not really lying either.
You got to be more thankful. Because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us...
I don't know, like, Biden seemed to give a lot more fucking aid than you ever did. So, like, he's thanked Biden, like, 15 times or some shit for the fucking aid. So, like, okay.
You have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make. Because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks?
You're the one who's like trying to give the Russians again. I'm being a fucking dead horse here. You're the one who's giving the Russians everything they fucking want.
What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that.
Oh, that's a good question.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on you?
Yeah, he can't. But he can't engage. He can't engage with this question. He can never, because he has to always assume that, well, the Russians would never fucking lie to me ever. Even though in every fucking point in history of this fucking conflict, the Russians have broken literally every fucking goddamn agreement. They broke Minsk 1, they broke Minsk 2, they did the fucking Kerch Strait incident. They have broken everything. They have broken every fucking deal. Every single time. But again, he is a stooge. He's a Russian fucking stooge. He just agrees with Russia because he sees himself in Putin. That's what it ultimately comes down to. Trump ultimately wants to be like Putin, a very strong man. But again, he can't fucking do it because look at him. He's being a triggered little fucking bitch baby beta. He's so fucking triggered right now.
Your head right now, okay? Why did they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me.
They didn't respect you, buddy. Kerch Strait incident. They don't give a fuck about you. They just know how to play you off. They know how to play you like a fucking fiddle. No one gives... Because this is like the sort of mob mentality that sort of comes in, right? Because he's a fucking mobster in the end. Listen, yeah, we have to get money from you if you want our protection. It's all about respect. Respect of the game. That's why you have to thank us. You have to respect me in order to get my protection. All about the fucking mob mentality here. Obviously. That's not how it fucking works.
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. Russia. You ever hear of that deal?
Yeah, I don't think... Again, that only affected you and your campaign team. That didn't affect the fucking Russians, you moron. And you're just mad that, guess what? It did find credible stuff on your fucking campaign. He's still mad about Russiagate. Because it did find credible things. The libs were correct.
That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that.
He's so fucking mad.
He didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom.
What is he talking about?
And then they said, oh, the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff.
Like, what do you engage with here? There's like, he's just like a rambling grandpa. Well, I mean, he is a rambling grandpa. But he's just mad. Yeah, he's thinking about Hunter Biden's fat hog. That's all that conservatives can constantly talk about is Hunter Biden's fat cock.
All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened.
He did.
He wants to make a deal. I don't know if he can make a deal. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out.
Again, like, they're probably not going to make a fucking deal. Because the Russians, they don't agree with the fucking deal. They don't agree with the premise of the deal. Neither do the fucking Ukrainians. This guy seems to think, like, it's all a fucking one-way street where everything has to come out in the fucking favor of the U.S. This isn't how that works. It's ridiculous.
I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting...
No, they won't be in a better position.
That's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right, we'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks, sir.
Yeah, they just got fucking triggered.
We'll see. I don't know.
I guarantee you the deal's not going to fucking work out. It's going to be a fucking disaster. It's not going to fucking work out. Literally. Because again, why would the Europeans and the Ukrainians fucking goddamn look good? Yeah, this only made you like Zelensky look good. And guess what? Literally, like every motherfucking like world leader is saying, yeah, we back Zelensky. Like we're not gonna fucking agree to anything. And like, funnily enough, Zelensky was like thanking every fucking leader. Like, where is it? What has that man fucking been saying? He's been going around thanking literally every fucking like main political leader within the within the fucking goddamn he's been thanking like literally every European political leader saying like, yeah, we still support you. I thought Zelensky wasn't thankful. Like, what's up? Like, Zelensky, politically speaking, he is playing this fucking perfectly. And again, every fucking curse in hell should be rained down upon the United States because, goddamn, this made them look really fucking bad. And broadly speaking, I can guarantee you, a lot more people probably like Zelensky than they like Trump. Guaranteed. If you were to look at the fucking polling. Then this only made him look good. Everyone, broadly fucking speaking, is saying like, yeah, we support the fucking Ukrainians. Every single European leader. We can keep scrolling through. And he does like a fucking thank you. That's so fucking funny. Like a backhanded fucking thank you. He's not being sincere about this. Because why the fuck would he be? It's fucking funny, dude. The saga still goes on. No one cares about what Elon Musk has to say about this. It's actually insane, dude. So before they went in, this is one of the OS int sort of accounts. Zelensky with this traveling party did a bunch of high-level joint bipartisan talks, which obviously the Democrats probably all support him. They don't have the means to be able to do anything, unfortunately. But yeah, they did a bunch of talks before that. JD Vance, of course, jumped into a mess that he has no fucking idea what he's talking about. Now we have this fucking statement right here, which I think only makes Donald Trump look worse. Statement from President Donald J. Trump. We had a very meaningful meeting in the White House today. Much was learned that could never be understood without conversation under such fire and pressure. It's amazing what comes out through emotion. I have determined that President Zelensky is not ready for peace if America is involved because he feels our involvement gives him a big advantage in negotiations. This is the most fucking cope fucking goddamn shit in the fucking goddamn in the fucking goddamn planet. What are you fucking talking about? What do you fucking mean? What are you fucking talking about? I don't want advantage, I want peace. Yeah, you sure do want peace, having a fucking peace summit in Saudi Arabia with only the Russians and the Saudis there. Sure. Yeah, you definitely want some kind of a fucking peace that's going to be lasting. He disrespected the United States and its cherished Oval Office. He can come back when he is ready for peace. Like, again, the reason why they don't fucking want peace, the Ukrainians, is because they don't agree with what the fucking goddamn negotiation is that you're fucking putting out. They don't fucking agree with it. If you were to ask an average Ukrainian, would they fucking agree with it? Fuck no. No, the fuck they wouldn't. It's all, again, like I said, the sort of mobster fucking mentality. You want our protection? You gotta give us some fucking money. Or maybe we'll just let you get eaten up by the other guy. I don't know. It depends. I'm feeling kind of fickle about it. It's all the fucking mobster fucking shit. It's incredible. Those ungrateful Ukrainians. Actually insane, dude. Actual fucking insanity. Those are all the original clips. Here are all the fucking stooges immediately coming out. We got, of course, Marco Rubio. Yeah, of course, standing up for America. Yeah, because, you know, that's definitely what happened. Getting, oh no, bullied by poor widow Ukraine by Will Zelensky. Wham, wham, wham. Because he made you look like a fucking dipshit in front of national television. Made you look like an irrational fucking child. You're Scott Bessent. Doing the fucking gluck gluck, that good suck suck. Sean Duffy, that fucking moron. Kristi Noem, the DHS fucking secretary. This fucking stupid troglodyte. It's incredible. Actually fucking incredible. How bad they're fucking doing it. It makes them look fucking terrible. And Zelensky, I believe, oh yeah, hold on. Also, real quick. Hey, JD. You're talking about thank yous, huh? Well, here's a bunch of thank yous. 10 thank yous from President Zelensky. Oh, but it was speak to Joe Biden, nothing to Trump. Oh, you're just upset that your fucking daddy didn't get any fucking thank yous for, only wanted to give the fucking Russians everything that they fucking wanted. Incredible. And like I was mentioning before, Zelensky also did an interview with Fox News after this, saying, I don't think I owe Trump an apology. I didn't do anything wrong. Based fucking king shit. Let's see, I guess this is a video of it.
From you, Mr. President, a thought that you owe the president an apology.
No, I respect President and I respect American people. And if, I don't know, if I think that we have to be very open and very honest. And I'm not sure that we did something bad. I think maybe sometimes some things we have to discuss out of media, with all respect to democracy and to a free media. But there are things that where we have.
By the way, this only makes fucking Zelensky look good, by the way. It's very funny that this dude is saying neocons all over the fucking world are in shambles. Even though this guy's like a fucking dipshit MAGA supporter. Very fucking funny. Very funny that guy is fucking saying that.
Have to understand the position of Ukraine and Ukrainians. And I think that is the most important thing. Yes, we are partners. We are very close partners. We have to be fair. We have to be very free.
From you, Mr. President.
This only made Zelensky and the Ukrainians look better. Look way better. And people will probably want to send him even more fucking support. Like, the Koreans are starting to fucking pick up slack. Same with the Japanese. They're starting to also try to pick up some of the slack as well. In terms of fucking rearm. Like, all of this, like, idiocy is coming off of, like, the fucking Europeans are thinking about fucking rearmament because of all this fucking stupid bullshit. If anything, that's gonna make everything more fucking tense on the fucking, on the fucking continent. Like, do you know why the Europeans decided to, like, disarm themselves significantly? Because they didn't want another fucking giant war within Europe. Because, guess what? 2 world wars were in the theater there, Trump. Why do you think they broadly want to do that? Because they don't want to have any more of those dumbass fucking tensions like they used to in the fucking past. But Trump's an idiot and he doesn't know any of that history because, again, he isn't educated on this. But, because they're weak in their work, that's why they don't need arms. That's why they have to rely on us. We always have to do everything. Now, it's been broadly sort of agreed that since America was the strongest that came out of World War II, they had the biggest and strongest fucking economy, they should be the ones, the main stewards of the sort of liberal order that they have helped fucking create because of their victory in World War II. Like, I mean, all the shit from the Marshall Plan did get fucking repaid, and Europe was heavily indebted to the United States. That's how fucking soft power works. But again, do you think Trump fucking understands that shit? Of course not, because he's an idiot.